Making your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our streets where everybody knows your pain, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome into another episode of Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. I am here with Robbie Bobby. What's up, dude?
How we doing, Mario?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
It's our technical difficulties.
Yeah, we're having a rough day here from the Dad Bod crew. Even Norton's had a rough day. What's up, dude?
Oh, not much. How you guys doing?
We're doing.
We're here now, right?
That's
like,
true.
We made it.
True. That is true.
Nope.
We made it.
Clearly.
Yeah. I'm just on coffee, but it could switch at any point. No, I am. I've been looking forward to this episode the whole weekend. We canceled yesterday or Monday. I had insane allergies, and I actually forgot to mention to both of you, I woke up today and had the exact same issue. I'm like, oh shit. Cause I messed up on my allergy pill once again. And I immediately went into the shower. I immediately got the nasal spray going, dude. It's like I stopped it in its tracks compared to Monday, where I waited too long and everything was downhill spiral.
Yeah, you were a mess,
dude.
So bad, dude. It is wild out though right now. So I mean,
it must be
right before this. I took some nasal stuff and hit the eyes up because I was struggling a little bit today, but I'm feeling good now.
Yeah, I took some allergy medicine a couple hours ago too. So
I never even knew how to relate to people that had allergies or any of this outside of like whenever I'd be around cats. I never knew how to relate to this. I never knew. And it's like, as I've gotten older and as I've married my wife who brought cats into my life permanently, all of the combined things, it's just constant. I take pills daily. I take one, not multiple, but I take allergy pills daily.
Dude, it's tough. I was the same way when I was growing up. I really had like no allergies. And then all of a sudden, dude, like I hit like 25, 26 in that range, somewhere in there. And I'm like, dude, what is going on? I was like, these are allergies just killing me. And then so then I've gotten to a point where like, especially when it's bad, I'll take it like daily for just weather.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare getting old, dude.
It don't turn old, dude. It literally does. Like yesterday or Monday, it was literally just dripping. Like it was, and I mowed like before it was bad, so I didn't really necessarily know that this was coming, and that obviously probably didn't help either. So I mowed, got all grass in my nose, dude. It was just. I took a picture and sent it to Robbie and Cody, and it was just a paper towel stuffed up my nose because I didn't know what else to do.
That's the worst, especially when you hit the mow too. You just
dude.
you know it's over after that point too. When it starts coming on strong.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta get this done because I go to Baltimore tomorrow. I was like, I gotta get this done, man. And I felt like crap doing it, and then felt worse after. That's my sob story. So sorry to take up that time. We got any news, boys? Robbie, hit us with our first piece of news. The biggest piece of news, right?
We talking D-Hop?
We talking D-Hop.
D-Hop got released from the Cards. A lot of rumors swirling around where he's going to go. Kansas City, the Buffalo Bills.
The Cleveland Browns.
Obviously, connection to the Cleveland Browns. A rumor came out today about the New York Giants. So we don't know. He put up a tweet today that he, kind of indicating he might know where he's going. So hopefully the news drops any day now. So that'd be cool. So we can talk about that. But yeah, that switches up the Cards rankings for me. And then wherever he goes, it's going to dramatically shift those receivers.
every dynasty owner should be like every person walking around in the 1960s. Like you should be under a desk hiding with your hands above your head, hoping that your precious Garrett Wilson, your precious even Diggs, they just don't get hit with the D-Hop nuke. And it's possible.
He's gonna hurt somebody.
He's gonna hurt somebody.
Like,
there's no case where he goes somewhere and he doesn't take some sort of value from that person.
Like even if he goes to the Chiefs, Kadarius Toney's gonna get killed in the rain.
Nuked. Oh, that's a
yeah.
God.
He will destroy what I mean. Even if he goes to the Bills, I don't think Diggs is gonna get.
It's the best.
Killed.
It's the easiest transition, right?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, Gabe Davis is worthless at that point, but
yeah.
Like Stephon Diggs, he'll be fine, but I think it takes away some of his volume, which is what makes him so valuable. Like he won't be a top 5 receiver for me.
I texted Norton. I'm scared shitless for Garrett Wilson. If he goes to the Jets, I know Garrett will be fine. But I want elite.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Saleh came out today, and I think there was a question like, "Is D-Hop coming?" And I'm pretty positive he was like, "No, we're good with our group."
Yeah, he said something like that, where he's like, "We love the guys that we have," or something, and we're moving forward with that group. So like, that makes it feel nice. I mean, obviously, you never know. I mean, they could just be smoke, but still. Like when I heard the whole Jets rumors too, and I'm so heavily invested in Garrett Wilson, I'm like, no, please, no, please, no.
Yeah, I didn't see Jets. I saw Giants. So
there was a little bit of Jets like yesterday or the day before.
Makes sense. They're in win now, man. They got what?
It was
2 years?
Jets, and they said there was 2 people that like Jets, and there was another team that they mentioned with Kansas City and Buffalo. Jets and somebody. Maybe it was the Browns.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
But if he came out today saying that, it's good.
Yeah. Going to be interesting.
Norton, we had some news from Vegas too. Some pretty, there's a lot of implications that can come from this.
We're talking Jimmy G?
Jimmy G, yeah.
Jimmy G, yeah. They might void his contract, huh?
Might void his contract because he got surgery on his foot and he needs to pass a physical now.
Yeah,
I don't know
they combined his signing bonus into his roster
so they've already kind of salary. did the we're gonna push this off a little bit, right? Like they were okay.
So they took away his signing bonus pretty much. So if he gets cut, he doesn't get that. And with this void in the contract, apparently that they can just cut him scotch free. They don't got to pay him. And that would be why. I mean, that'd be wild. To see how what would they do at quarterback? They'd have to go get somebody. Like who would?
Yeah,
Carson Wentz. I would say Gardner Minshew would be a perfect kind of plug and play, but he's not going to. I don't see.
He just signed with Indy.
The Colts. I don't see the Colts trading him. Trey Lance maybe, but that's in divisions, right? So I don't see. I don't know. I don't know who they'd.
It's in the same conference, not same division.
Conference, yeah. I just don't see who's available.
That's not even the same conference.
That same. They're both West, but it's AFC West and NFC West.
AFC West, yeah. My bad.
Oh, okay.
But
so,
yeah,
which is why it was real strange. Anyways, like why are the Chargers and the Raiders in the AFC anyways?
Exactly. It's weird.
So Niners would make sense. They got Sam Darnold and Trey Lance.
It's the same division as Indy, though. Like, help me understand.
Always confuses me. They always confuse me.
They're like, here's LA. I'm getting so carried away. Here's LA. Here's Vegas. Here's also Indianapolis, which is I would think Midwest, right? Like it's literally 3 hours from me.
What, Indy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they. I think they're South now, AFC South, right?
I'm getting completely lost here. Then
I'm gonna have to print those out and put them up on my wall. So,
are we live? Can we edit this?
It's already off the rails. 10 minutes in.
So it's Raiders, Chargers,
Chiefs, Broncos.
Oh, God bless it.
Yeah,
I'm an idiot. So I was combining Indy, Houston,
Jacksonville,
San Fran.
Jags, not San Fran.
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
San Fran's NFC.
NFC West with the.
Thank God you're here,
Seattle.
because obviously Robbie and I are still not quite rusted off.
Doing
Dude,
that
you know
tomorrow,
it's fun.
it out, putting an MO.
Yeah,
It's
like
fun.
behind you.
Yeah, right to the side so no one can see it.
Just off camera. No, yeah, it's funny because it's weird for whatever reason. That's how I remember all the teams is like by division for whatever reason. I don't know.
That's sick.
It's weird. It's really
You're
weird.
sick.
Yeah. There's one of my my wife's brother's wife asked a question about like.
Is that your sister-in-law?
Would that be? Yeah,
It's your
technically sister-in-law, right? She's
right?
Yeah, that is true. That's just I'm not good there. I'm not good.
He can do that. He can do teams, but he can't.
I could do teams by
Yeah.
division, but
I think it's your sister-in-law.
Yeah, technically, yeah, it should be. I always like
It's
I
your
always
wife's
see-
sister-in-law.
Right, it's my wife's sister-in-law. So then it's my
Maybe it's not
sister-in-law.
yours. I think
See,
so.
that's why I was like, I didn't know for sure because I'm like, man, it gets confusing once you get a third degree out there. So it's just like, but she
We're
had asked.
so screwed on time.
I know she had asked a question about like different like teams and things like that, and I was running through like sports teams based on conference to try to remember what they were. So, but yeah,
I promise I'm usually pretty decent at it, but I just got tangled real
Yeah,
bad.
it
Real
happens.
bad, and it just crumbled from there.
It happens.
Pressure
Yeah.
was built up. Did we have any more on that? You were about to say something?
No, I was gonna say the one thing I saw about Jimmy G was I just saw a tweet about it says Linsfranc surgery usually is fixing / fusing the bones. Minimum return is 4 to 6 months.
It was Liz Frank.
Wow.
So this
He
is
might get cut, man.
This is what it says. It says average is 10 to 12 months for position players to gain explosiveness, but pocket QB equals much lower demand. Odd part is that the surgery.
This is Derrick Henry and ETN.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it says odd part is the surgery was reported as a cleanup. That implies an 8 to 12 week timeline. Garoppolo is currently at approximately 6 weeks now, so his activity over the next few weeks will inform what he had done and what type of recovery to expect. Because, yeah, minimum return 4 to 6 months, average 10 to 12, but that's for position players. And so
That's for not a cleanup, right?
Right.
They're saying his
Oh.
cleanup will be a little less.
Yeah.
You would think they would know signing him about this, right? I would.
I think they had a clue. I
Yeah,
don't really
so
know. Though.
I'm sure that sounds. If it's a cleanup and
very
he's out
happy.
8 weeks, makes sense.
Yeah.
So, boys, I have a game for you, and I've been really excited about this game as well. And you guys are gonna have to put your thinking caps on, your quick wit caps, whatever it may. It's gonna take. You're gonna have to be funny here. Like we're just putting you guys to the test.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna get me.
I'll give you an example, okay? Because I hope not.
Be careful.
I have what we have here is we got a QB episode, right? We're gonna be talking QBs. And what I wanted to do, and I'll give an example, I'll share my screen. And I had to hide this. So no sharing screen at the bottom. I didn't want you guys to even get an indication of they have zero clue of what's coming next. I mean, after I share this, so no.
It's a bombshell.
So we start off, right? We're gonna do, I want you to think of your best caption or name for this that you can possibly think of, right? This is to me, I'll give you a perfect example. For me, this is great value Joe Burrow, baby. You know, Smoking Joe has the classic, like, I smoke a cigar. I'm pretty cool after winning a national title, but he's good.
The Walmart Joe Burrow.
Mac is not he's the cheap brand, bro.
Yeah,
he's the cheap.
Walmart
Yes. So what I'm doing for you guys, and I am since I picked out the game, I already seen the pictures. I can't take part, so it's purely up to you guys. And you're gonna have to come up with names for the next couple of pictures. You boys ready?
Let's do it. 2 Chainz Kirk. I mean,
2
that's
Chainz
what
Kirk.
I like
comes to mind.
I like it.
He's ready to roll. Looks like he's about to throw a grill in and start rapping. I'm all about it.
Some of these pictures were tough to find. Like you really have to dig deep for some. All right, we'll move on to the next.
Boy.
I mean,
Addy was like impossible to find pictures. I don't know what was going on, dude.
I mean, he looks good here.
He's got
He's
it.
just getting ready to play a game, you know. Red Rover, Red Rover.
Red Rover, Red
Mahomes
Rover.
over.
I'm about to take a shit right on this field. All right, so obviously I already had two guys without their shirts on. So the easy one here would have been the Tiger shirt. I was like, no, enough dudes without their shirts on. We'll go with this one.
Something bad came to mind, so I won't say it. That's a cancelable.
He said, "This is where I get canceled. This one right here.
This is where I bite my tongue."
Oh boy.
What's up, Albert? All right. Well, Norton, you got anything?
Oh man.
This is locked up Baker.
That's true. I was trying to think of what I can't even remember what insurance company he was
Progressive.
with. Was it Progressive? I was like, man, I don't want to say Progressive. It was like Nationwide or something.
I tried to zoom in on this one.
Oh boy, that is
This is like Jared Leto winning his first Emmy or something.
This is, as I say, this is
pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Solid.
It reminds me of Nick Cage, Air Force One.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Joe Dirt.
Yeah. Oh boy.
This one's easy for me. I'm not sure if that was a fart.
I was just gonna say. That.
I couldn't find really a good Josh Allen one either. We could skip this one. Yeah, that one's a bad one. We'll skip that one. But you have to have one for this guy, right?
The flow is real, baby.
I'll say.
Nah, you got to come up better. Like
top notch flow right there.
How many Disney princesses are there, Norton? You know,
I mean, I should know this offhand, right? Well, yeah,
you don't have any daughters.
Don't have any daughters, so I don't know it offhand. But yeah,
this is the 14th Disney princess right here.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think there's 13. I feel like that's wrong though.
It feels like that would be a right amount.
All right, now that you guys have been pressed on your QB skills test, I guess. Because we're not exciting as I was hoping for. So it's all right though. I bought an improv game for you guys, so we're gonna start playing. You know, get your tongue a little untied.
Get the juices going.
That's
get
true.
the juices going.
That's true.
You got to think when you're live, dude.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get you guys thinking. I bought a game, literally bought a game, Norton, to kind of ice break a little bit.
Okay.
That was not this game. Because I was really excited to see what you guys had to say about these QBs. I got to say, though, I didn't pick out some of the best pictures. There was decent ones. All right. Let's actually get into the episode. So today we're going to be talking about QBs 1 through 12. And we're not going to dig into guys that we'll talk about all of these QBs throughout the season. But really, we want to talk about the guys that we have biggest discrepancies on. There's a few that we have highlighted for today's episode. Tomorrow, we're also doing a QB ranking episode, where it will again be 1 through 12. The reason behind that is because we felt there's more value to kind of get some more takes on certain players and less value in 13 through 24. Now, when we get to RB's wide receiver episodes, we're going to bounce that out to 24 because there's a lot more value to hear that 13 through 24 in those positions. And then tight end, we come back. We're probably going to stick with the 1 through 12 because literally nobody cares what tight end finished 13 through 24. You make it a better argument that a QB finishing 14 you're probably happy about, and there's a lot more situations that you'd be happy about. There's like no situation where you're concerned with what tight end finishes 14.
Yeah,
literally.
I might have a hot take or two in that one.
Yeah, yours is going to be off the chain. So, Rob, what I need you to kick off with is first, and we're going to do this after Rob, I need you to tell us your top 12, and then Norton, I want you to give him what your biggest concern is with his top 12. So Rob, if you wouldn't mind reading off your 1 through 12 getting it out there. We'll clip it. We'll have it nice and ready to go for social media, and we'll have it. We'll have it that way.
1 through 12 or 12 through 1?
However you want to do it, Rob. Really, it's your world.
12 through 1. I think that's more advantageous.
Exciting.
More drama.
We'll go with so starting off at 12, I got Daniel Jones. Coming off his best career season, another year in the system. I'm excited for him. Then we go to Aaron Rodgers, moving over to the Jets. Some of the best weapons he's had besides Devontae Adams, so I'm excited for that. Tua coming in at 10. At 9, I got Lamar Jackson. 8, Justin Fields. 7, Justin Herbert. Back-to-back Justins right there. 6, I got Deshaun Watson. 5, Smoking Joe Burrow. 4, I got your boy Trevor Lawrence with the flow. 3, Josh Allen. 2, Jalen Hurts. And 1, Patty Mahomes.
He's changed us up on us a little bit, Norton, hasn't he?
It did change a little
I
bit.
made some adjustments.
Yeah, he really
changed a little bit.
Really
Yeah.
okey doke does.
Little bit here.
But one thing is left the same.
It is. My call out here is Lamar Jackson at number 9.
I knew that'd be
Number
your call.
9. Number 9. Yeah, it's just so. Do you want me to go first, or you want him to do you want me to say why, or do you want him to defend it first?
Yeah, I want you to tell it why you're like you're making the case that's too low. You want him
Correct.
higher.
Yeah.
You want him at yours is what do you have him at 4?
3.
3. A little spoiler alert. So why?
Yeah.
What's that case?
Yeah. So when it comes to Lamar, basically, I think honestly, I'd be fine if he's anywhere 1 through 6. Really, he's been QB 1, 8, 7, 6 in points per game on the last 4 years. And obviously, you could say then, well, if he was QB 8, in points per game, QB, why wouldn't you put him at QB 8? But if you look at any other QB, in that range, show me another one basically that's been top 8 4 straight seasons in points per game, all 4 seasons 20 plus points per game, and 3 of those have been considered disappointments too. He only had 2,200 and 2,800 passing yards, 16 pass touchdowns, 17 pass touchdowns. He scored 20 plus points per game though, still in all 4, because he had 750 plus rushing yards all 4. Some of them he's banged up. To me, it's like if he's rushing for at least 750 minimum, like I said, he finished top 8 points per game with only 2,200 and 2,800 passing yards and 16 touchdowns. I feel like
long way. He's come a long way since those days, and that's
Right.
This offense might too.
Yeah, and like last year, even Fields was QB 5 points per game with only 2,200 passing yards, 17 and 11. Danny Dimes was top 10 with only 3,200, 15 and 5 with 700 rushing. So to me, Lamar is a more dynamic rusher than basically anyone. Obviously, he's like the only QBs to do what he's done. So for me, it's like if he's going to rush for 750 plus, like top 10 is like minimum. And then if he hits that 1,000 mark, like it's a top 5 is almost a lock on a points per game basis.
Yeah. Don't disagree with anything you said there. The disappointing years, obviously he was hurt in those seasons. So I don't hate anything you said, and I don't hate the player. I'm all in on Lamar. I really like him as a player. This is more of me taking a step back and saying, okay, they're implementing a completely different offense than he's accustomed to. I think he's not going to have those gimmicky, drawn-up rush plays that he's accustomed to, right? So they're bringing in Todd Monken, a pass-heavy offense, which, yeah, he is a lot better of a passer than a lot of people think. But I don't know if he's as good as some of those players I have above him, which is why I have him ranked a little bit lower. He also signed a massive contract this offseason, right? So I think they're going to, as an organization, try to keep him away from those within the 5-yard red zone, like the hard rushing yards. Keep him a little bit away from that, so I tick down his end zone kind of upside for the touchdowns. And I do have him running for over 900 yards, so it's not like I'm crazy off of that. It's just that I have some of the other players having great seasons based off of what I'm projecting. So I have it basically where he is more of a pocket passer than he has been in recent seasons. And until I know he's a good passer and all that, I just don't like his weapons. So his weapons are kind of my, like, okay, pause. I need to see it before I'm going to lock him into throwing for over 4,000 yards, because he's never done that in a season. I have him for career highs in attempts and passing yards. I just need to see what these weapons can do. Like, if Bateman can show me a full season of him being a very good receiver, I'm all in. But I haven't seen that happen. I haven't seen him be healthy all season. I haven't seen Odell Beckham be healthy for the last, 4 seasons. I haven't seen Zay Flowers. Like, I need to see these. Like, I know Mark Andrews is still there. He's going to be awesome. Maybe I'm a little bit low on his touchdowns, which we can argue that. Again, that kind of comes back to just the weapons around him. And I think they're going to utilize J.K. Dobbins in a different way than they have in the past, which is why I'm so high on him this season. So that's kind of where I'm going. It's not the player, because I love the player. It's the scheme that they're bringing in. First season into it, I think there might be a little bit of a bumpy road. Next season, I can see him kind of, at the end of the season, I think he'll be a top 5 quarterback. It might take him a couple weeks to get there. Might take him a half season to get there, which will.
You're saying for a certain week allotment, like weeks 12 through 18 or whatever.
Yeah. So like at the back half of the season, once they figure
you're
out
really saying he's going to struggle in the first 12.
I mean, I still have him at 8 and 9. Like I'm not, and let's,
that means
you're saying we
like
can kind of nitpick. We can kind of nitpick this how we want to, but he's in the same category as he's 4 through 9. Like they're super close for me. Right. So like there's so many ways that can pan out just at how close that group is for me, where I'm really kind of just lumping them together. I would be fine with any of those guys. I really would, because they're so close. It's like he's 3 points off of Justin Fields and 5 points off of Justin Herbert. Like they're right there. So it's not like I'm crazy off of where those other guys are. It's just, again, I need to see him produce passing wise in this offense, because it's going to be a completely different offense for him. And I just think it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get acclimated to how Todd Monken's going to run an offense.
So Norton and myself, we both have him relatively high. I know this is kind of giving away when we read off here. But I have him at QB4. Norton has him at QB3. So we're much higher than Robbie is in the sense of rankings, right? Like whether you have them close or in the same tier or not, there's a discrepancy in rankings. 100%. I, for one, when you're talking about weapons, and Norton, if you agree or not, I'm not quite sure. I'm an upside guy. I always get caught up on the upside. So I completely recognize that. But man, I feel so much more excited about the combination of hopefully a healthy Bateman, which was the exact conversation last year. Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews likely is this his second year? And like Monken runs that 2 tight end set. I've said it on an episode before. You even mentioned JK is going to be used differently. Who's that also help? That helps Lamar. Like I think it is. I have him down on rush yards. Actually, I have him at about 700 this year, because I do expect these weapons, but I have him at close to his highest rush or passing yards and close to his highest TDs.
See, I guess that's our discrepancy is the touchdowns, because I'm a little bit lower on that. I think I am around 23, 24. I just don't. I don't trust the weapons.
I have a huge
I'm gonna give
off.
Like who I get. Mark Andrews is there. Like, yeah, he's awesome. I really like Likely, but for me to say like, yeah, Bateman's gonna be there all season and Odell Beckham's gonna be there all, like, I know you don't want to bring in injury prone to statistics. Like you can't really do that. But
you guys yelled at me for it last year.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, it's been 3 seasons of the same players getting constantly hurt. And then if 1 or 2 of them are out, it's a rookie receiver on the outside and Mark Andrews.
Right. But and I get that concern. But then my thought is, well, what did he have last year? Because would you rather have a rookie in Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews, or would you rather have Mark Andrews plus Duvernay, Duvernay, and DeMarcus Robinson and all the guys?
And
to me, it's like
That's fair.
a massive step up.
Okay.
Because even if they get hurt, it would take to me, it would take all of them getting hurt for them to just get back to where he was last year. And that's why I'm like,
good point.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. And I think that where we're kind of clashing heads is, for me, I believe it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get used to this Todd Monken offense.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a little bit harder of a transition from what they have been doing, where it was more of, I don't want to say like backyard football, because a little bit of a backyard football with Lamar kind of extending the pocket, running around, doing his thing, to a system where he's got to read a defense, decide where he's going to go pre-snap, see what happens mid-snap. Like, I don't think I've seen him do that enough. Maybe I'm wrong. I could 100% I could be wrong, and maybe he is more of a true pocket passer than everybody wants to give him. But until I can see how this offense clicks together, like first week of the season, I could be like, yep, I was 1,000% wrong. He's going to be a top 3 quarterback. Like, there's no question about it. But from what we've seen with transitions in offenses and quarterbacks, and like, look at Deshaun Watson last year. It was a completely new offense to him and how they ran it. And the dude granted, he was off for 2 years, but he looked lost because it's
not always that way, though. I mean, like, Tom Brady went to the Bruce Arians system and won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but how similar was that offense?
It's pretty different from Belichick's, right? I mean, am I wrong? I get Roman to Monken is probably a much bigger.
It is a wildly different offense. Like,
but you're also kind of discrediting the fact that, like, if you're assuming that they're never going to run him or they're never going to use him as a scrambler or anything. Like, Monken's still going to make that a part of the game plan.
I still think, and I have that factored in. Like, I have him for 900 yards.
See, that's the part that's wild to me, is when you said that we used to have him for 900 rushing yards.
Just how I projected out, man. Like,
he's got more. I don't want to say this, but he's got a lot of guys between my 3 and 4, and that includes Lamar, actually. So, like, we have Lamar at similar points, but Robbie has a lot of guys that are just going to, like, take leaps.
Yeah,
I'm dropping from 390 to 380.
So just for, like,
or 330, sorry.
For what we're talking about, like, I have Trevor Lawrence taking a massive step forward. I have Deshaun Watson taking a big step forward. I have Justin Herbert getting back to, he was really good last season, but it was his touchdown percentage dropping. And I think that gets back to a little bit of a more stable point with bringing in the rookie receiver. Hopefully Keenan stays more healthy than he was. Hopefully Mike Will stays a little bit healthier than he was. And I think Justin Fields takes a step forward in his passing and continues that rushing, because it's the same offense, right? It's the same system of offense. I think they will kind of release Justin Fields a little bit more than what they did last season in the passing game. And that's where I'm like, okay, all these guys are in the same system. Granted, Deshaun's a little bit different. I think they're going to tweak a lot of things, but I think it's going to be more catered to a Deshaun Watson offense. And they're throwing Lamar Jackson into an offense that I don't think is really catered to his skill set. So that's where I'm a little bit off with it.
Let's last thought, and then we're going to move on.
I was gonna say, so what I'm interested in too is to hear. So you have him for Lamar, for example. You said you had him at like 900 rush yards, and so what kind of points? I guess points and a point per game are we?
Break down per game.
What's that?
I got him at 338.
338. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to think.
But I said, he's clustered. He's clustered with
19.88 points per game. So again, Robbie has a lot of guys that are in between, the big 3, Patty Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen's. And then he has a lot of guys in this range of 335 through 350.
350 through 338.
35. Yeah.
I'm guessing it's a lot of touchdown like stuff for the other guys.
That's my So
Because I didn't look at
That's
it.
the discrepancy with Lamar and Fields. Like Fields, I have 23 touchdowns. I have Lamar at 22, which again, in 2 weeks, I could go back, look at it and say, I was wrong on that. I'm going to bump him up to 27 and then he could be my QB5. But I truly think it's going to take him a little bit of time to figure this offense out.
Okay.
That's fair for sure.
Let's go to Norton. I need you we'll keep it, the same as Robbie has kicked off. Start from your 12, kind of do your top 12, starting from the 12th. And then I have a question about your rankings, and I'll kick off right after you finish your rankings.
All right, sounds good. At 12, coming in at 12, Daniel Jones. At 11, I got Geno Smith. 10, Anthony Richardson. 9, Deshaun Watson. 8, Trevor Lawrence. 7, Justin Herbert. 6, Joe Burrow. 5, Justin Fields. 4, Patrick Mahomes. 3, Lamar Jackson. 2, Jalen Hurts. And 1, Josh Allen.
So the one that surprises me the most on this, and I think it's glaring, right? I don't think this is common. And I actually think you're a consensus guy. Like I saw somebody comment about your things. I'm not saying that every move you have, but I think you're closer to consensus than probably me, who I like to try to take a lot of shots. And usually I'm like, crap, I missed. But so that's what made it even more surprising. But I know your thoughts. I'm already there. And I'm actually pretty in tune to how you view things, how you view trades. Like who wins the trades. I'm getting that. Like, that's how much we've been doing these episodes and how much we've been talking ball, that I'm like pretty in tune with the thought. You love your, what is it? Konami QB.
Yeah.
You love it. And it makes sense, right? Like, but I am pretty shocked in the sense of like Anthony Richardson at QB 10 as a rookie. So, just got to find my notes because I'm an idiot. So I'm trying to get like a lot of things that I'm doing this season is not necessarily like locking in onto one-to-one comparisons, right? Like obviously history shows a part of the story. It kind of helps you determine like what's going to happen. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring in this one-to-one. I think it helps paint the picture of how high you are on Anthony Richardson. Josh Allen's rookie season, who I think is a very comparable build, probably a little slower, same sort of arm strength. Like they're very similar, very raw prospects coming out of college. He was QB 21. Now, granted, he missed 4 games that season. So he started about 12, and in the middle, he missed 4. But in points per game, he was QB 19, because I knew you were going to ask about that. So he rushed 89 for 631 yards and had 8 TDs that season. The last 3 years, QB 10 needs about, on average, I looked at this, 315 points. So to try to pick out, like, how would we get there with Anthony Richardson? This is my guess of what you're getting at. We would need to be somewhere like Anthony Richardson would have to rush about 700 yards, about 8 TDs. That's 118 points. You would, in addition to that, need to throw for 2,800 yards, which is about 112 points. And assuming he has at least 10 interceptions, is that too wrong? 10 sounds about right for a rookie.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. That's about minus 20. So we're going to need an additional 26 passing touchdowns to make up for it. So this is, and you can lift and raise how you want to after I go here. This is a huge line for like this raw athletic prospect who's a rookie coming into the NFL. I think if you, I just find it hard to
Sneeze. Sorry.
Robbie and his noises, dude. Look, we're gonna run this back again. This is
I sneezed. I'm sorry.
So Robbie and I, we do 4-point passing per touchdown
I'd say
on
4
our
point.
rankings. Yeah, and I assume when you're ranking out your QBs too, as well, Norton, right?
Yeah,
taking
I
in
do.
mind. Okay.
Which I also, I will say, just a caveat. I generally tend to think in -1 per interception, but it's not that big of a deal, to be honest with you. Like
Yeah,
the -2,
10
-1, it's just, it's
Same
yeah.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think it was like -2 was standard. But anyways, to finish this off, I think if you wiggle the rushing line, it gets to a point where it's like close to Lamar and Jay Fields. And I think that honestly, they're getting more yards than Anthony Richardson, even on his rookie year. Like I think they're going to both outrush him. They're just a lot faster. I think his rushing upside is a lot like Josh Allen. So I'm just curious where this is coming from. Are you expecting him to have a better passing line? Are you expect him to rush more than kind of what I laid out? What's your thoughts on that?
So when you were talking about what again did you say you for Josh Allen he had 631 and 8 in his rookie year?
631 and 8, yeah.
Okay, and he was QB 19 and
Points per game.
Yeah, and points per game. Did you see what his passing was, or I didn't look at it?
It was a little rough. I want to say
I know he was like,
give me 1 second. It will come up.
I know he was like really, really rough as a passer in terms, and that's why I do like your comp in that sense, because Anthony Richardson is very raw. I mean, I think they're raw in a slightly different way, but it still doesn't matter. Like they're both, you're not expecting them to wow you as passers as rookies. Yeah. So
Josh Allen was 2,074 and then 10 and 12. So his touchdowns were horrific, but there wasn't much in Buffalo that year.
But see, 2000.
How many games did he start?
He started 12.
And is that
4 in the middle?
And that QB 19 on points per game, that counts his overall stats, right? Even games that that was even games that he may have played, it didn't start, right?
I would assume so. It was on Fantasy Pros that I did.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I just took average of what they show, which I think they show. I can tell you right now if you give me 1 more second. They show pretty much. They're showing his points per game outside of the four games he missed. But if I'm not mistaken, he started the whole season, didn't he?
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember 100%, but I know. Okay, so I know
for you while you're talking this through. By the way,
yeah, when we look at that line, his rushing line 631 and 8. That was also, you got to remember, that was 16 games too. We have an extra game. And
that was only 12 technically.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Anthony Richardson is a better rusher, like more athletic than Josh, way faster. So, like I expect him to run more than Josh Allen did as a rookie. So if Allen ran 630 or 631 in 12 games as a rookie, I'm expecting Anthony Richardson 750 plus. And also I'm expecting them, he's got the same coach that coached Jalen Hurts. So we know he can
for 900.
Right, for Josh Allen.
Game, that'd be a 900-yard
pace.
893.
So I think honestly, if Anthony Richardson starts every game, 750, easily doable. Now if we look at like last year, for example, Daniel Jones was QB 10 in points per game. His final line was 3,200, 15, only 15 passing touchdowns, five interceptions. He had 708 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns. On a per game basis, that's less than 200 passing yards a game, 188, less than a touchdown per game, and only 41, 42 rushing yards. I think that line on a per game basis, I think it's more than doable for Anthony Richardson. Even if you drop him to 100, say you drop him to 150, like I would expect him to run for more than Daniel Jones. Like if you and I were to, like if you were to bet, who would you say runs more yards per game, Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones this season? Like if you had to put your money on it, I would put Anthony Richardson. Like I like
depends.
Daniel Jones,
but I would be surprised. I assume the Colts are going to build a playbook around him, but right. To say that he's going to put up like Justin Fields last year's numbers, we can't come there. Which I know that's 1,100. That's 1,100.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. I think 750 is a floor if he plays all 17 games.
But you're still like assuming he's going to have a decent amount of passing yards, about 200 per game.
That's the thing, is like he doesn't even need that. Like last year, Daniel Jones had 188. If you drop him to 150, even right, and you up that. If you drop him to one from 180, even say 200 down to 150, that's 2 points. That means he could just, if he rushes for 10 more yards per game than Daniel Jones did,
Was he 10 in points per game or overall?
Points per game. Daniel
So-
Jones was. And he was averaging 18.5.
And you're saying how many
18.4.
TDs is he going to average?
Let's just say one passing, half.
How many
Half.
interceptions?
Even go.
Give me a total. Just give me a total.
Let's just say we'll go with 10.
And then rushing, you're saying about 800 yards?
800 yards.
About 8 rushing TDs?
Yeah.
I don't know if that gets it there, man.
See, that line right there is better than what Daniel Jones did last year from a fantasy standpoint. He has 100 more rushing yards. He's got more touchdowns.
17
It's going to be
times.
it's going to be
That
at
was
least
mine.
very close.
A -1 interception rate.
We're doing -1. Okay.
No, that's what I'm assuming here.
So we got 160 plus 80 plus 48. That puts him at 288, that line. So I don't know how I looked at the past 3 years of QBs that have finished at QB 10. It was 315. And actually last year was the lowest.
Last year was the lowest for sure.
Mhm.
I saw that too because I was looking back on the past 3 years as well. Because when you had said that, I looked at last year's and I'm like, I was like, Jared Goff was like 10 or something. And he was like
It was low
290.
last year.
And I was like,
Yeah, I think 315 was the 10, right?
Yeah.
Jared Goff at 290. You're right. And then it was 315, then 341 was QB 10. In 2020, which was COVID year, so defenses were like a little weaker. I really do believe that. Lamar Jackson at 341 in 2020.
But see, yeah,
So-
and I'm always looking at a points per game basis though. And like when I just break down Daniel Jones's like stats on a per game basis last year, like I think Richardson can definitely do that. I think he's gonna have more interceptions. Even if he only has 15 passing touchdowns, but I think the rushing is where he's gonna go. Like he can easily surpass that. Like as good as Daniel Jones, I've always liked Daniel Jones more than most people for fantasy because he does run.
Yeah.
But I mean, Daniel Jones is still like when you're looking at Anthony Richardson, he's literally the most athletic quarterback prospect in the history of the league. We're talking about a guy who is as big as Cam that runs like Lamar, like as fast as Lamar. I mean, you got a linebacker.
And that's the thing,
with
though.
Lamar
Like
speed.
not one of these guys, Josh Allen, Lamar, Justin Fields, who else is it? Jalen Hurts. None of them, even their Jalen Hurts and Lamar only played 4 games. Fields played quite a bit of the season. Josh Allen played the full season minus the games he was out. None of these guys, though, like the last dude to do this was Cam Newton to come this high. As his rookie.
Is that on total or per game? Because if you look at like each of those guys, like every guy once they took over, like once these rushing guys took over.
Yeah, but like in your
on,
ranks, though. Okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying that they were fine, they did well. I don't know if that's the case with Fields. I don't think it is because he didn't rush as much as he did sophomore year.
Right. I was gonna say he stepped up the rushing for sure. But like I know for sure as soon as Lamar took over from starting, he was
pretty well.
Dynamic in fantasy. As soon as Hurts took over, dynamic. Kyler came into the league instantly, dynamic. Like as soon as these guys, the running guys, take over as a starter, like their instant weekly impact is insane. And that's why I always rank those guys. Like every year, pretty much, I always have one guy. Obviously, like last year was Trey Lance for me, and it didn't work out because he got hurt. I mean, who knows? Yeah, but that's the thing is like as soon as those guys take over, their instant impact is crazy. And to me, I'm like, well, okay, I can rank him this high, and I expect him to be a top 10 guy on a weekly impact basis. And then if for whatever reason, say he doesn't start or gets hurt or whatever else, it is the most replaceable, streamable in a 1 QB situation. So I can always, a lot of times, like Geno was on the wire for a while. People didn't want to buy in last year because one, they didn't believe in Geno, and two, it's when 1 QB, they're like, well, I already got a QB. Why would I need to grab Geno? Like Goff was top 10 last year. You got guys like Goff, Cousins. We were talking about it before, where there's like 20 guys that you could probably consider for the top 10. So I'm like, I always am going to be going for that guy.
I think the other part that concerns me is that we're looking at a team with a new head coach, and if he is pushed into this game right away, which I'm not certain he is, and I know that changes everything, right? Like you've already said that I'm putting him at QB 10 if he starts the whole season. But like that's the other thing. It's hard. I get what you're saying. These guys come in and they do well. But like a lot of these guys come in after sitting back for a while. Like if Fields definitely did, but Fields was like the shortest. Lamar and Jalen Hurts got like the last 4 or 5 games in their season, and Allen played his whole first season. And that's another reason why I stuck Kyler too. And Kyler's such a hard one to like. He doesn't even fall into this category as much as some of these other guys, right? Like he threw well in college.
See, that's why I loved him so much too.
I know, and like Anthony Richardson, really like he has some work to do, and we see that it's possible.
For sure.
We absolutely see that it's possible, and I'm not doubting his long term. And again, I agree with the sense of like I'm thinking of getting this guy late just to stash on my bench because if he becomes relevant, it would be great. I thought 10 was high. I understand that. I knew where you were coming from with the rushing.
It's fair, and to your point too, like when if it was I would be a lot more hesitant in super flex leagues trying to take him this high. I mean, and this is where I get into the points of like where we talk about like weekly impact versus like yearly, and also I think of a situation where like a lot of people will say, well, then that means like this guy has a low floor with a high ceiling. But honestly, yes, on a season-long basis. When we're talking about a weekly basis, though, running QBs have such a high floor on a weekly basis and a high ceiling. Like they have such a high floor because of the running. So even if they do bad passing, they're gonna get you points. But their ceiling is so high, obviously, too.
Yeah.
But on a yearly basis, though, I do 100% agree. Their floor is really low because of the risk of like benching or variability, like all that kind of thing. Whereas like, we talk about our, veteran pocket passers, they're probably just going to be in there all year for you, plugging away 18 a game. And 18
doesn't
a game.
Get hurt, just gets back there.
Give you 17 to 20 a game in that range.
He's more like the 17, 16.
Yeah. And like, that's cool. And like those guys get pushed up in super flex for me because you can't replace like that kind of production off of the wire. Whereas, dude, if I mean, like I said, Anthony Richardson, give me 20, 25. If he gets me like 20, 25 in that range per game, and then say he gets hurt or goes out, I'm going to pick up a Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff type, Geno Smith, and just stream from that point. So like, it really does.
That's much more about like, and that is very much more like we're getting into strategy there versus
for sure.
I get what you're saying. I understand though,
100%
overall of it. Rob, did you have anything to add, or should we keep it moving?
No, I love what you just said. Makes 1,000%. I mean, it makes a ton of sense. You go for the upside on a player like that, where you can have kind of a reliable Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, and I get where you're coming from. You were calling it all last year.
Conversation.
Yeah, it's a big strategy conversation with 100%. That, but if you're just banking on him playing 17 games,
right,
with the weapons around him and stuff, I get where you're coming from.
All right, boys. I know where both of you are going. I'm not excited for it. This is gonna be we have our dad bod episode. I could give you a sneak peek. He's on this list. All right, so here's my top 12 QBs of the 2023 season. At 12, Geno Smith. Actually, I'm really excited for Geno. 11, Tua. Number 10, Jordan Love. Number 9, Justin Fields. 8 is old Aaron Rodgers. 7, Kirk Cousins. 6, Justin Herbert. 5, Smokin' Joe Burrow. Number 4, Lamar Jackson. Then we got our top 3. At 3, Jalen Hurts. Number 2, Josh Allen. And 1, Patty Mahomes. Which one of you wants to do it? Which one of you wants to dance?
You want to give it to him? You want me? Okay.
Ahead,
so
No, you got you're ready to roll. I know you're good. I have another one bone to pick with them, but we won't get into it tonight. But I'll let you hit this one.
We'll say
Yeah. Jordan Love at top 10 QB. It is bold. It is bold, sir. It is very bold. Yeah. So for me, I have him all the way down at QB 25. I know, and you know, it is the same tier as QB 19 through 25 for what it's worth. I know that doesn't sound too much better to you, having him at 10. So, but my thing is that he doesn't run. He never topped 175 in rushing yards in college. Like, he isn't a crazy athlete. So where you'd see that increase. We've only seen him one start so far. It was, mediocre, 12.9 fantasy points.
Against one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah,
it was Philly.
I thought it was the Chiefs, right? It was 2 years ago. It was like 2 years ago or something, right?
He played last year, almost a full game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't include that one.
The full game.
Yeah,
I think A-Rod came out pretty early.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't put that one in.
Check me out now. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you know better than I would for sure, though. On Jordan Love.
Last year was it. I made fun of Rob for years on Jordan Love, and last year got suckered in on this Philly game, dude.
Dude, but that's the thing is, like, so for me, even like, when I'm looking at like any of his metrics, like, nothing to me jumps out. Like he has back into the first round draft capital. But like
first.
Yeah.
I know
this fair.
I think there's like a 30% success rate in his range in this.
Right. So that's like,
it's not good.
It's not encouraging. And I know, like, that his final season wasn't impressive either. And I know I left out the previous season.
No, that was my note.
is looking pretty good, but no. Anyway, though, I mean, like, when I'm looking at his metrics, though, like, he's 25th. He was 25th percentile college QBR rating, 42nd percentile YPA, 73rd percentile in breakout age. Like I said, he's not a crazy athlete. I just don't see where, like, I would expect him to all of a sudden come in and just take over. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see where, and like, even his pass catching group, I love Christian Watson. But then after that, I'm not like really like super into a bunch of, I think Jaden Reed and Romeo Doubs are fine. The pass catching tight ends that they drafted this year are fine, but they're still rookie tight ends that I don't expect them to be anything like special. So it's like, I expect them to be pretty run heavy with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon both there. I'm just struggling to see where it all comes together for him.
Yeah. No, I understand. It's I don't have him marked out for any rushing, but I do, in a lot of the sense, I know that I'm close to his ceiling with this rank, at least for year one. Obviously, if he comes out like this year one, where I have him ranked and where I have him statted out at, it definitely, that is a great sign, right? Like, then you're starting to talk, we're in the game, right? This guy could be something if he hits close to these numbers. But yeah, I have him for 4,100 ton. It's a big number for passing yards. A little, I think that's about 250 a game. 34 touchdowns, a lot. That's 2 a game. 11 interceptions, and I have him for minimal rushing yards, about 165, 2 TDs on 50 attempts, which I think there's just, by natural occurrences, that he'll scramble and get 3 rushes a game. That will be very short. Anyways, so as you mentioned, you did conveniently leave out his best year in college, which is why I got him drafted in the first round. He had a 32.6 touchdown to interception ratio. He lost his coach that following year. He lost a couple weapons that following year, and he regressed. He did. He went 20-17 the following year. This is a system. I like Love. I have watched the highlight video way too much now of the Philly game, which is what I'm telling you. I know it's not great, but like that's what opened the door for me. Watching that, then I had to go see some college film, and I had to go watch other games. But last year was the Philly game that I was like, this dude looks like he knows what he's doing. He's got zip on the ball. He had a couple missed throws there. Christian Watson had a huge play for him that game, 65-yard touchdown. But like he looked good. And then it got me digging, right? Like we got Jordan Love. He's going to be the starter. They committed to him over Aaron Rodgers. They did. No matter how you spin it, they at one point said, I think it's time to go to Jordan Love. He sat behind Aaron Rodgers. I think it was 3 years, right? So now we're taking this talent. We're putting it in a system that hasn't failed a QB in 20 years, but not that, because every system's different. And this is a different coach. This is LaFleur. He came in 2020. But the thing is, like, LaFleur's resume with QBs is insane. And like nobody talks about that because A-Rod just publicly undermined him throughout the whole time that he played, that he coached him. Like I was always like, damn, this coach sucks because A-Rod said so. He didn't, but he did, right? Like he's always undermined LaFleur. But like he became a head coach in 2020. A-Rod's seasons, 2020 and 2021, were some of his highest touchdown yards. He's always low in interceptions. I think the last time he put up these numbers was like his Super Bowl run in, was it 12? It's insane. Obviously, last year he dealt with the injury and he dropped back down to like 26 touchdowns. But I think both 2020 and 2021 were about 38 and 46. That's nuts. I get it. You had Devontae and it was Aaron Rodgers. Right. I understand. I'm at 34, so it's still a little bit high. But like we look at LaFleur, he's a QB coach at heart. One of Mariota's strongest years, and it was, I was looking at completion percentage because it wasn't his best year, but his best completion percentage, 69%. LaFleur was the OC there in 2018. LaFleur is the QB coach in Atlanta, 2015, 2016. You could argue that 2016 was Matt Ryan's best year ever. Again, these are all different guys, right? Like Matt Ryan is, I don't want to say a Hall of Famer, but he was a great QB for a long time. It even spawns back to 2010 to 2013 Commanders, where they had RG3 come in and they had Kirk Cousins a little bit in his last year. So like this system, this coach is very QB friendly. It's not insulated, as you like to say, for Shanahan's offense. But I think we're going to start seeing some of that. Like this is a guy I'm buying into. I like Watson. I'm actually super high on Watson this year. The only issue I have with Watson is like, man, last year was a different injury, different week, every week. I like Dobbs. I don't, every time I watch it, I don't know if I don't really want to say because my wide receiver ranks aren't done. Okay. I have edited his and I have him 74 for 1,030. 6 TDs.
Okay.
At first, I thought you were going to say 30 touchdowns. Like, damn, pretty solid.
They all got that.
Okay. How many pass attempts do you have Green Bay at?
585.
Okay.
I think that the running backs are going to be used in this pass game quite a bit. I think they're going to be used rushing as well. I'm a little high on AJ Dillon. I don't know. I'm not buying into the tight end. So I really just think this is the wide receiver core. I think Dobbs takes a step. I think Watson, I have Watson, if Jordan Love is on, I have Watson ranked at his floor. That is really the situation. Yeah. I mean,
if he's QB 10, I mean, he's going to be a wide receiver 10.
As I say, because
he would have to dominate the ball.
Yeah.
He's definitely on his floor ranking, but say that Jordan Love is QB 15. This is much more of a likely finish for Christian Watson. So I guess I'm not doubling down.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, so. I guess my biggest thing is basically like when you're looking at his projection, you're basically expecting him to walk in and be a Kirk Cousins level passer. Because if you're looking at like guys that would finish in that similar range that don't run or run a little bit, like I was looking at the points per game last year of guys like, and even last year we mentioned was a lower, points per game, and a lower scoring QB year. But you're looking at guys like basically like Geno, Daniel Jones, Tua, Kirk Cousins, Trevor Lawrence were all in that range of like 17 to 18, Jared Goff. And I guess it's just hard for me to see him, I guess, walk in right away because he's not going to get the running like a couple of those guys do. And so he would have to be on par as a passer as some of those other guys. And it's just hard. I guess it's hard for me to see him like step in and be that good as a passer right away. Like, because then you look at like, Cousins, for example, and he was Cousins like QB10. You have him higher though, right? And so I get why. I mean,
he's consistent QB7.
Yeah, he's but he has a better pass catching core. And then like every person, like Andy's a vet that's done it over and over. So then you just
but he did. Kirk Cousins did when. So I get granted RG3 went off, or they benched RG3 in the 2014 season, so he got a little bit more burn. He had 5 games compared to G Love's 1. But the year after he came in 4,100, 29-11. Like that's his first full season. And he sat for 3 years. Yeah. So like he did. And am I saying Jordan Love is what Kirk Cousins is? I don't know. I don't know if that's a huge statement.
It's definitely possible. I mean, it's definitely possible. Obviously, he has better draft capital than Kirk Cousins.
He did. Kirk Cousins, what, 4th rounder?
Yeah, and learning from a better QB. So it's very possible. Not saying it, but it's very bold too. That's what
one thing that I'll say on this is I think it's just recency bias that it's a Green Bay quarterback that sat behind a Hall of Famer for multiple seasons that we're going to think is going to come in and take the torch and run.
Time out before you go on. I actually usually believe the opposite of these sort of things. I'm like,
I know you
happen
do.
Again,
right?
My mind. Yeah, it can't happen again.
But like that's one, because I think that's a common kind of thing for people to do, because like that's what I did. I drafted Jordan Love in every one of my drafts, in all the startups. Took him, sat on him, looked into everything, and I was like, okay, now
we got him
his
again.
Trade value is high enough. Let me trade him. You said you have him for 588 passing attempts.
585, yeah.
585. Since LaFleur took over in 2019, they've had 570, 526, 531, 542. Ooh. So I don't see how they're going to go from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love and throw more.
It's a good point.
Yeah. Is what I'm going to say to that.
Well, but I would say that what he took over in 2020. Did you give 3 different numbers there?
2019, I thought.
I think it's 2020.
Okay, so if it's 2020, that's even worse.
Yeah.
So but 2020 doesn't count because there was only 16 games.
Okay, so it's 531 and 542. And you're going from a first ballot Hall of Fame Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, where there's talk coming out of camp where LaFleur was, I believe he said that he's not fully understanding the playbook, or there was he said some weird comment about Jordan Love. I don't see how he's going to go from Aaron Rodgers and give it to Jordan Love and be like, okay, we're going to open up the playbook. Let's throw this sucker around. You know what I mean?
I think that's a valid point. I think I should look at the attempts here.
Now it
which
could
would
be
inevitably change my yardage.
Sorry to cut in, but it could also be like Aaron Rodgers is just so efficient and so good that like they don't need to throw that much, if that makes sense. Like he throws 531 times and he has 37 touchdowns.
It's because his completion rate.
That's not normal.
Right, and if his completion rate is so good, then they're moving the ball more often, so there's less.
That's what I'm saying. Throwing. You know what I mean? Like he's so good that they don't have to throw the ball as much as normal teams would.
And Green Bay might be like in general winning the game. I can't tell if Rob's making a stink face or just frozen like that, but it was
frozen.
You were for a second. So yeah, they could be behind quite a bit more. But I think that is one thing that I didn't pay attention to that I would like to look back at.
Yeah, that's well, I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers, just his past attempts. So I don't know if he played in every single game, but I'm pretty positive that he did. I don't remember him missing games. But that's my biggest kind of like backlash on the Jordan Love is I just don't see how he's going to go. If anything, I think it scales back to even less pass attempts and more run heavy offense and let Jordan Love kind of grind it out and go in that way.
Yeah, I can recognize that. I think I have him close to a ceiling because he doesn't have any rushing upside. We're really we're talking less rushing upside than what we're putting him at, like Burrow numbers rushing upside. So it's tough to kind of do that all with your arm. And I don't have any of these QBs that typically run ahead of him. I do have him above Robbie's favorite of T-Law.
What do you have him at?
I think I want to change T-Law's ranking eventually here.
I think you should.
Before I get crucified, because I looked at his stats and I have him not progressing at all. I want to progress him a little bit, but I'm not. No, I don't. I have him at like close to the same and declines in like rushing touchdowns. But anyways, we had one more QB to talk about. We're gonna call it, boys.
Yeah.
You guys, if you Robbie, you're on the show tomorrow, right?
I don't know. If I am, I am. I'll be here.
Yes. Yeah, I think you are. So if you want to talk about that person tomorrow,
it's coming up, baby.
Is there somebody on? Oh, you don't even know, dude. You haven't even looked at the outline.
I haven't, but we're talking T-Law tomorrow.
Uh-oh. Well, no, it's still 1 through 12. Oh, well, it's 1 through 12, but yeah, you can make your case for T-Law. I'm not on.
You're not on? Oh, I'll save it for you then. I'll save it. I got some smoke for you.
Change it before that. All right. If you're not already following us on Twitter, check us out at DadBodFS, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, DadBod Fantasy Squad. We post all the recordings of tonight's episode all on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Robbie?
All the major streaming platforms.
For myself, for Robbie Bob, for Norton. Check him out at Norton0723. Peace. Good Lord.